When I went to an HBCU, my freshman year was 1999. So in 97, FAMU won College of the Year. So 99, it was like FAMU was the whole way. Like everything was about going to FAM. Howard's always going to be Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, that type of thing.
Right.
And with us being in the HBCU space in the middle, we see that North Carolina A&T is hot right now.
They are.
Why do you think North Carolina A&T is so hot right now?
Yeah, I mean, you really looking back to, I always say this to people when I talk to about how hot A&T got all of a sudden. Like, if you really go back and look, it really kind of all started for me in like 2015 when you started seeing just everything just started clicking on all cylinders. It was like the football team was now doing nationally televised games at the Celebration Bowl. They're on ABC every December, it seems like. You're starting to see this influx of kids coming into A&T now, where the talent level, is starting to rise even more than it was before. They've always had talented kids, but now you're starting to see the level of kids are starting to get in there, and they're starting to pick up as well too. They started to become the largest HBCU in the nation, so their numbers started increasing, and they started advertising themselves. I felt like they started advertising themselves in a way that was actually starting to click with like our demographic. You know what I mean? They started saying they were producing they're the number one producer of Black engineers in the country. They started putting out all these stats, all this info and everything of that nature to really entice you to A&T. Because what's interesting is, like, as a kid that grew up in Alabama, we had HBCUs like obviously Tuskegee, obviously Alabama State, obviously Alabama A&M, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley. Like, you heard about those schools and everything of that nature. But when I decided to go to A&T after I did my research, everybody was looking at me like, A&T? What is that? Like who is A&T?
Right.
You know what I mean? And now, when it came to like my senior year, like in 2018, 2019, it was like, oh, that's A&T. You know what I mean? Like that, we know exactly what NCAT's about now. You know what I mean? So it was a very quick and sudden rise for them, because, like I said, back when I was growing up, you really in Alabama, you really didn't even know much about that school, and now it's like it goes like Howard, obviously, when you talk about the prestige and everything of that nature, and then you're talking about NCAT right up there with it. Especially in this day and time right now. That we're talking about as far as the one being one of the hottest schools that's out right now.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. So I see the football. I can see the marketing a little bit. Does it have anything to do with like some of the students? Were there any like high profile people that came out? I know Terrence J came out of there. He was around kind of like my time. Was there any like other high profile? Because I'm trying to see if we can take something from what North Carolina A&T is doing and give that to some different HBCUs to help them with their recruiting. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Darren Brand, obviously he's affiliated with the school, there as well. I'm trying to think of some high profile names that probably came out around, in that time period. Obviously Tariq Cohen, the football player, plays for Chicago Bears now. He was also around that time period. Brandon Parker of the Las Vegas Raiders, and some other NFL players, some other NFL talents come out of there that's really helped put the school on the map. But I think holistically, rather than just a few names, I really think it's just been the success really of the school holistically, and the students that have been coming out there, holistically. You got guys going to Google, Amazon, Microsoft, ESPN, like all these different companies where people are starting to look at like, oh, what's that little school in Greensboro doing that's producing all this Black talent? You know what I mean? And so that's where I think we're really getting to, or we're really achieving and really getting to that prominent spot for A&T.